Hello friends, in a previous video we covered how to create a course in ClickFunnels 2.0 and how to customize the course template pages. If you missed that, feel free to check it out on my YouTube channel under the ClickFunnels playlist. Now that we've created our course and customized the templates, let's move on and take a look at how to add new modules and lessons to your course. There are a couple of different ways to do this in ClickFunnels 2.0. First, if you go to the Outline tab, you'll see an Add Content button. When you click on it, you'll be given two options, Add New Module and Add New Lesson. From here, you can easily add either a new module or a lesson. Also, when you initially create a new course in ClickFunnels 2.0, it automatically includes a default module and lesson. If you click the Add Content link next to that default module, you'll see options to add either a lesson or a submodule. When you create a submodule, it will be placed under the parent module. And yes, you can also add lessons under a submodule as well. Now let's go ahead and click on the Add Content button and select Add New Module to create a brand new module for our course. Now, the Add New Module window has appeared. The first option you'll see here is the parent module. If this is set to none, it means the module you're about to create will be a standalone, individual module. But if you select a specific module from the drop-down, the new one will be added as a submodule under that parent. Since we're adding a new main module, we'll leave the parent module set to none. Next, you'll need to give your module a title. If you want, you can also add a description in the module description box. And if you've already prepared an image for this module, you can either drag and drop it or manually select it to upload under the module image section. However, even if you just enter the title and leave the rest for later, that's perfectly fine. You can always go back to the module settings afterward and update the description or image as needed. Once everything is set, click the Create Module button and your new module will be added to the course. Since the module we just created doesn't have any lessons yet, you'll see an empty Add Content link. Click on that link to add a lesson. When the Add Lesson window appears, you'll notice it looks very similar to the window we saw when adding a module. However, this time there are only two options, Parent Module and Title. From the Parent Module dropdown, you can choose which module this lesson will be placed under. Since we're adding it under the module we just created, we'll leave that selected. Now, in the Lesson Title field, type in the name of the lesson you want to add. Once you're done, just click the Create Lesson button and your new lesson will be added under the selected module. Now let's take a look at a few more things here. One really useful feature is that you can easily drag and drop any module or lesson to rearrange their order. Personally, I really like this feature. It's simple and very effective. If you ever need to move a lesson from one module to another, you can just drag it and drop it where you want. It saves a lot of time. Another thing to notice is the status of the modules and lessons. The default module and lesson that were created automatically are already published. However, the new module and lesson we just added are currently saved as draft. While it's best practice to keep your content in draft mode until all the lessons and content are ready, so you can publish everything at once. I'll go ahead and show you the settings now. If you click on the draft label, you'll see a few status options. If you choose Published, that module will become visible to all students who are enrolled in the course. Then there's the Drip option. Selecting this allows you to unlock the module after a specific number of times. Great for time-based content delivery. Finally, the Lock option gives you more control. It means this module will only become accessible once the previous module is completed. It's a great way to enforce sequential learning. For lessons, however, you'll only see two options: Draft and Published. There's no Drip or Lock functionality for individual lessons. Now it's time to add content to our lesson. To do that, you can either click the three dots next to the lesson and choose Edit Lesson, or even more easily, just click directly on the lesson itself to open it in the editor. Since the lesson editor includes quite a few elements, it may take a moment to load, so just be patient if it doesn't open instantly. Once it opens, take a look at the left-hand side of the editor. At the top, you'll see Parent Module. This shows which module the lesson belongs to. We've seen this before, but just to recap, this simply indicates the lesson's parent module. Below that, you'll find fields for the lesson title and description, which you can edit or update as needed. Next, you'll see options for lesson image, video, and audio. Earlier, when we customized our lesson template, we added a video element to it. So, if we add a lesson video here, it will automatically show up in that spot on the page. It's important to note that this lesson video or audio is limited to one file per lesson and it must be hosted directly on ClickFunnels. However, if you want to include multiple videos or audio files, you'll need to add them using regular elements. In that case, you can use embedded video sources like YouTube, Vimeo, Voomly, Wistia, or even an HTML5 custom embed. These videos will appear inside the dynamically replaced content area of your lesson page. Let's walk through this in practice. From the lesson options on the left, click on Select Video and it'll take us to the Media Upload area. As mentioned earlier, lesson videos added this way must be hosted within ClickFunnels. So at this point, you can either upload your lesson video directly or choose one that you've already uploaded to your account. Now we want to add additional content that will appear inside the dynamically replaced content body. To do that, we'll add a new section. We'll choose a blank section. Then we need to pick the number of columns for the row. This depends on your layout and design preference, but for now, let's keep it simple and choose a single column row. Now we can add any element we need from the Available Elements section, such as a headline, paragraph, video, and more, depending on our requirements. And of course, we can customize the design just the way we want. Once we're done adding the lesson content, make sure to click the Save and Reload button to save your progress. Now, if we want to publish the lesson, all we need to do is click on the draft status and select Publish from the drop-down. The lesson will be published immediately. However, publishing a module involves a few additional steps. After clicking on Draft next to the module and selecting Publish, a pop-up will appear. The first option you'll see is Publish in the future. If you want the module to go live right away, select Publish now. But if you'd like to schedule it for a future date and time, choose Yes and then set your desired date and time. Next, you'll be asked whether you want all enrolled students to have access to this module. We'll go ahead and select Yes here. You'll also have the option to send an enrollment email notification. You can enable this if you want students to be notified. Now let's take a look at how users or students can enroll in the course we've created. There are 3 ways to enroll someone into a course, but before opening up enrollment, make sure that the course has already been published. That's an important step. First, let's go over how to manually grant access to a user. To do this, go to the Customer's menu from the left-hand dashboard and then click on Contacts. This page will show a list of all contacts that are subscribed or registered in your ClickFunnels account. Since we're using a fresh account for tutorial purposes, there might not be much data here. If the person you want to enroll doesn't appear in the contact list, simply click the Add Contact button and enter their details to save them. I've already added some dummy contact data in advance, so I'll go ahead and select that contact to demonstrate. Next, navigate to the Enrollment tab and then click on the Enroll in Course button. This will bring up a list of all available courses in your account. Select the course you want to give access to. If you'd like to limit access to a specific module within that course, you can choose that as well. Finally, click the Save button and that person will now be enrolled in the course. Another method for enrollment is when your course is connected to a product. In that case, whenever someone purchases that product, they'll automatically get access to the course. To set this up, go back to the Courses app, open the course you created, and navigate to the Access tab. From here, you can either create a new product by clicking on the Create Product button, or associate an existing product by selecting one from the Select Product dropdown. In our case, since there's only one product already added to the list, it's selected by default. If you had multiple products, you'd need to select the appropriate one from the list. You can also define which modules within the course this product gives access to, so if you want to restrict access to specific parts of the course, you can do that here. Once everything is set, click the Save button to finalize the product-based access setup. To check whether the product-based access has been set up correctly, click on the link icon next to the product name. This will take you to the product settings page. Once you're there, look for the Purchase Actions section. If everything is set up properly, you'll see that the course has been successfully connected. One important thing to note: if the purchase is refunded or if there's a chargeback issue with the customer, that person will be automatically unenrolled from the course. So you won't have to manually revoke access. It's all handled for you. The third method of enrollment is through workflow automation. To do this, go to the Automation app, then navigate to Workflows. Click on Add Workflow. Next, give your workflow a name and click the Create Workflow button. This will open the workflow editor. The first step here is to set up a trigger. In our example, the trigger will be an opt-in on a specific funnel page. Click on Add a Trigger to get started. Set the event type to opt-in, then select the funnel and the specific opt-in page where the trigger should fire. After that, make sure to toggle off Allow Anonymous Contact to ensure only identified users are enrolled. Finally, activate the trigger and click Save Changes to apply the settings. Now we're going to add an action, and in our case, that action is course enrollment. To do that, click the plus icon, then search for and select the Enroll action. When the action window opens, choose the course and specify which module the contact should get access to. Since we only have one course added at the moment, it's the only one showing in the list. Once selected, click the Create Step button. To make the workflow active, turn on the status toggle at the top. And just like that, our simple workflow automation for enrollment is complete. Keep in mind, depending on your needs, workflow automations can be made much more advanced or complex. I hope everything was clear and easy to follow. If you have any questions or feedback, feel free to let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it, and consider subscribing to the channel. See you in the next lesson.